Hello, and welcome to this overview of the road trip trope in historical romance books. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot. You're watching Random Olive Reads. First up is A Bargain with the Rake by Sadie Bosk, which is book 3 of the Necessary Arrangements series. Evie is a duchess in her own right, but her money and estates are controlled by guardians who want to secure the dukedom for their own immediate family. She runs away from them after overhearing a plot to marry or murder her and proposes a marriage of convenience to Gabriel, who is a renowned rake. He agrees to her bargain and they set off on the road to elope. We get to see all sorts of road trip calamities here with broken carriage axles, brigands, rainstorms, and limited shelter options. Evie tries really hard to resist any physical relationship with Gabriel since she thinks that he will someday break her heart. Gabriel has had a cold childhood and upbringing, so he thinks that he won't be able to love Evie, only that he'd be able to bring her pleasure. It's a lot of back and forth between these two in terms of their emotional relationship, but their friendship is pretty strong as they make their way towards their wedding destination. Saved by the Scot by Jennifer Haymore is book 3 of the Highland Knight series. We jump right into the drama here with Lady Amelia showing up at the knight's house, a big bloody mess. Turns out her father has viciously whipped her after she found evidence of a treasonous plot against the crown. Sir Colin is the only man that she trusts, and he is tasked with hiding her away in Scotland until her father can be apprehended. We get a road trip romance here with both Colin and Amelia suffering from past trauma, him from his time in the war, her from her abusive father, but they're getting to know each other and trust each other. Things take a dangerous turn when her father eventually catches up to them. It's a lot of action and adventure in this one, but luckily no third act breakups. Surrender to Me by Sophie Jordan is book 4 of the Daring series. Lady Astrid's fugitive of a husband left his family years ago but has been spotted in Scotland under an assumed name and ready to marry an heiress. Astrid feels somewhat responsible and goes off to Scotland to confront the man. Along the way, she meets Griffin, who rescues her from highwaymen. For the most part, Astrid is trying to cling to propriety and avoid any physical or emotional entanglement with Griffin. She's got a tragic backstory of a mother who left her family for an unsuitable man and a father who was rigid and forced her to be proper and unfeeling. Astrid thinks that following any of her emotions will lead to ruin and scandal, so she always does what she's supposed to do. Meanwhile, Griffin is dealing with his own issues, but his need to protect Astrid becomes his priority. The Duke Buys a Bride by Sophie Jordan is book 3 of the Rogue File series. Marcus has run away from his ducal responsibilities after he catches his best friend with his stepmother in a compromising position, and he's on his way to his estate in the north of Scotland. On the way there, he happens across a village wife auction and buys/saves the girl who is being so crudely sold off. Alice has been married in name only to her late father's friend since the age of 15 and provided care to the man's children and household. Her childhood friend was supposed to bid on her during the auction so that they could start their new lives together, but that man disappeared and didn't show up. Although she is purchased by Marcus, she has no idea who he is or if he's even trustworthy. He declares theirs won't really be a marriage and that he will employ her as a housekeeper at his estate. We end up embarking on a road trip here, traveling on horseback, and stopping at various inns along the way. The Duke's Virgin Sister by Caroline Lee is book 1 of the Those Kilted Bastard series. Keith, the illegitimate son of an earl, is tasked with escorting Carlotta, the Duke's sister, to Scotland for her sister-in-law's birthday celebration. Carlotta is engaged to a baron who is an arrogant, pompous asshole, and we all just want to see him go away. Although he does make for some comedic lines, with everyone around him calling him names behind his back. Keith is a boxer and now owner of his very own castle in Scotland and doesn't really want to play escort here, but the Duke offers him the money that he needs to repair his castle. Keith and Carlotta fall for each other pretty quickly here, but he pushes her away, thinking that he will never be good enough for her due to their social class differences. We get a little bit of road trip hijinks here with travel delays and bandits, and we do eventually learn the reason why Carlotta can't take the train. Waiting for a Scot Like You by Eva Lee is book 3 of the Union of the Rakes series. Beatrice, the widowed Lady Ferris, and Major Duncan McCameron had met in book 2, and there was a little bit of exasperation on Duncan's part with Beatrice's antics. We find them here on a road trip together. Beatrice is en route to a debaucherous house party, while Duncan has been tasked by his Duke friend to protect her. They're also complete opposites in personality. Beatrice is out of mourning for her husband and plans to enjoy her freedom and widowhood, grasping at every opportunity to enjoy life and learn more about her surroundings. Duncan is the second son of a nobleman, a war veteran, and a serious rule follower. As these two grow closer together, it's exciting to see Duncan soften and skirt away from propriety a bit. 6 Degrees of Scandal by Caroline Linden is book 4 of the Scandalous series. We start with a tragic prologue here where Olivia and James fell in love, did not get married because she was sold off into marriage to somebody else. 10 years later, Olivia is widowed and being pursued by one of her late husband's associates looking for smuggled treasure. When Olivia leaves London to investigate a lead, she's soon caught up by James, who wants to assist her and secure her safety. He's been feeling guilty ever since he missed his chance to marry her all those years ago. So we get these two partnering up to solve the mystery that her late husband left behind and rekindling their lost love, and all of this mystery seeking leads them along the road. About an Earl by Diana Lloyd is book 2 of the What Happens in the Ballroom series. Juliana attempts to prevent her cousin from compromising an earl into marriage, but gets caught kissing him herself. Oliver is a scarred, reclusive earl that is not often seen in society. After the scandal, Juliana's uncle packs her up and sends her to Scotland without even entertaining Oliver's offer of marriage. Oliver chases after her to offer protection, but finds his own troubles when he returns to his country estate. Apparently, as the scarred and reclusive gentleman, his claim to the House of Lords and his sanity is being questioned. Juliana tries to help him by saying that they're engaged, but she's about ready to jump back on a ship to America to rescue her imprisoned father. There's a lot of nefarious plotting going on here, with both of these people being insecure in the other person's affections, but still a lot of fun. When the Duke Loved Me by Lydia Lloyd is book 1 of the Rake Chronicle series. We start with a garden tryst gone wrong when a Duke's heir and country miss find out that the person that they're trysting with is a longtime family enemy. We jump 7 years later and find out that John is the new Duke and he has a burdensome bit of his father's will to execute. He needs to find his father's former lover and give her an annuity to fulfill the will and save his sister's dowry. John needs the help of the woman's niece, Catherine, who has also borne the brunt of the old family scandal and now lives in poverty with the family of a baronet. Over the course of the book, we learn that the old Duke's indiscretion was revealed loudly and caused a great deal of upheaval for both families involved. Catherine agrees to help John locate her aunt in exchange for money, but she has little hope of finding the woman who ran off and was never seen again. While John and Catherine try to stay serious and professional with each other, it's clear they're still attracted to each other and wish that their family circumstances weren't so complicated. How to Best a Marquess by Janet McGregor is book 3 of the Widow Rules series. The prologue here consists of a very charming proposal from Julian to Beth, but things didn't quite turn out the way they expected. 8 years later, Beth is one of 3 widows of a duke's younger brother and was not in fact married to the scoundrel at all. In her quest to recover her lost dowry and get away from her older brother's influence, she seeks out the destitute Julian, now a marquess, for assistance, offering him half the money in payment. We follow with a road trip and second chance romance, even though Beth is adamant that she never get married, and she knows that her reputation will be detrimental to the honorable Julian's reputation. Julian just wants to convince Beth that he's sorry for walking away all those years ago when her brother denied his proposal, and that he's still in love with her. What a Wallflower Wants by Maya Rodal is book 3 of the Wallflower trilogy series. The last of the Wallflowers, Prudence, is lonely and sad after her two friends have fallen in love and gotten married. Not wanting to be the only unwed lady at the finishing school ball, she decides to elope with a man in a convenient arrangement. Unfortunately, travels have not gone to plan, and their coach was set on by highwaymen, and she managed to escape and then walk alone for miles and miles. When a handsome stranger offers her a ride, Prudence refuses since she's wary and untrusting of men. In her first season, Prudence was assaulted at a ball and she kept the secret from everyone, including her two best friends. She has attempted to make herself invisible and undesirable to men and embrace the role of wallflower. Although she wishes to enjoy the attentions of the stranger, she can't trust him at all and continues on her way. John, a young Viscount with a streak of good luck, senses Prudence's wariness and accepts her decision, even though it goes against his sense of chivalry. With a rainstorm beginning, he's glad to eventually reach an inn. Hours later, Prudence reaches the same inn and is surprised to see John again. Over the next few days, they're stuck together at the inn due to a rainstorm and start talking to each other. John is the ultimate considerate gentleman, and Prudence slowly starts to trust him. The Devil and the Heiress by Harper St. George is book 2 of the Gilded Age Heiresses series. We have a road trip escape here from the suitor that Violet's parents have selected for her. Believing that she is safe from her parents' meddling now that her sister has settled with a duke, Violet is caught off guard when her father has agreed to a match with a viscount. She plans to run away and is aided by an Earl Christian who has his own designs on her and hopes to force a marriage when they're caught together. Of course, during the trip, these two actually talk to each other and get to know each other, so Christian feels pretty guilty for his planned betrayal. Violet is also opening up to the idea of marriage since she feels so connected to Christian. In the background, Violet is working on writing a novel that is based on her infatuation with Christian without him realizing it. This book has all of the calamities that you would expect in a road trip novel, plus the added dread of uncovering Christian's deception. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.